We're known as warriors. Our people were warriors. It's in our bloodline. It comes out when we go into combat. It's very important to me, the Māori heritage and the Polynesian heritage of where I come from.
Dilan Andrews!
My name is Dilan Andrews and I'm a father of two beautiful children, a boy and a girl, Neva and Tyrese. You know, I have a belief now that it doesn't matter where you come from, you know, that you can achieve great things. My mum was a drug addict and my dad drank a lot, you know, and I grew up in that environment. But I still had an auntie who would take me away from all that, you know, got me involved in the sports. So I always played cricket, always played rugby growing up from the time I was 5. That was some way to get me focused on something, you know. I believe that the way you grow up sometimes can have that extra driving force that somebody else might not have when I'm fighting. People always talk about my heart and stuff like that. There could be another attribute to the way I grew up. My tattoo on my tāmoko, which is a C, which goes from my chest over to my arm, is my immediate family. My wife, and then my two kids here in the form of the hammerhead sharks. The drive and the motivation that I get is when I look back at my kids, or, you know, that's what drives me, that's what pushes me to my next session, and my next session, and my next session until I collapse. Who knows what I would have been doing if I hadn't had that support of my family, or just even my family to ground me, you know, and focus.
Bye.
Oh. See you guys. Obviously been a huge fan and following the UFC from the start. And when they introduced the reality show, The Ultimate Fighter, I was instantly hooked. It was always something I wanted to do, and the experience in the house, I loved it. I loved everything about it. And the people in the house was super cool. You know, my team especially, you know, our team Jones we're all brothers now, you know, brothers for life, because we got on so well. And we helped each other out in different ways, you know.
Family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family! That's right, baby. Buddy. That's right.
We got a shopping list every second night, you know. We got to write whatever we wanted. So I tested it, you know. I was like, all right, I wrote on my list a New Zealand roast lamb. Got up in the morning, New Zealand roast lamb from a Whole Foods store that they'd went out and got, you know? And I was like, what? You know, and it was just amazing, man. You know, I mean, we were looked after. We had world champion coaches, you know. We had whatever we wanted to eat. We had top-class training facilities. We had everything at our disposal, you know, for us to use and get better. And that's what I did. You know, I used everything they gave me.
This fight is 3 rounds in the UFC middleweight division.
My previous fight with Papia Betty, he tossed me or something and I heard my shoulder crack. That was a grade 2 tear on my AC. It was pretty bad because I'd actually hit my head and shoulder on the canvas at the same time. So I went out for a little bit. When I actually watched the fight again and seen that I was actually getting up and scrambling and going for it, I didn't even remember that. And then when the third round hit, you know, he's getting tired from all the work he'd been putting in. So the coach was like, just go out there, you know, and throw your right, because my left was no good. And then just waited for the opportunity to present itself, and it did.
Dilan Andrews to go 2-0 in the UFC.
Guy I'm fighting next is Clint Hester. Good friend, awesome person, awesome athlete, and can't say enough good things about him. The fight is what it is. It is a profession, what we're doing, you know. And before this we're friends, and after it we'll be friends. It's just business. The type of fighter that Clint Hester is, he's very well-rounded, I think. He's very explosive, so it's definitely going to be a tough fight. He poses a lot of problems in a lot of areas, so it's just about capitalizing on mistakes. I'm glad I'm getting to fight him now and not a year or two down the track, you know, when the guy is going to be a real force. It's a huge event. The card is stacked full of people that Australia and New Zealand have seen fight for the last 5 years, you know, at a good level. And, you know, they get them all on the biggest stage, fighting here, you know, it's amazing. To me, it's like home away from home. This is as good as it gets, you know. I just want to say to my Australian fans, thank you, you know, for the support. Believing, you know, and being there for me, and the way I give back is by winning, and that's what I plan on doing December 7th. My name is Dilan Andrews and I fight with a warrior spirit.